when we call the print function, is all the code for the print function inside our program? Do you see any code here for print or anything to find print? No. All the code for Python is stored in what's called a module, meaning it's a separate file that we can access. We can use the code in here, but we don't have to see it. For example, I'm going to create a module for this program, and I'm going to call it calculate area. And I'm going to move the calculate area code into that, and it'll work exactly the same. So the first thing we need is to make a separate file. And we'll call it, what is this function? Maybe we'll make another Fahrenheit. We'll make a temp converter or temp convert or something, because my typing is doing badly. So there's our temp converter, right? And we're going to put the temp conversion code into a temp convert module. This will be where the code is that actually does the work. Now they're next to each other. It's just kind of my convention for doing these things. That doesn't mean you have to do it that way. So now we go to our, wherever that was. Where's our guy? Multiple parameters. So we did Celsius, right? What did we do? Temperature converter. Okay. So we need our temperature converter. So this function can be used in any other program. We're not going to put it in here. We're going to put it in here. There. There it is. It's all by itself in its own little file. We are not going to run this file. We are going to run this file. So I'm going to go back up here and get the part that actually runs that. Where is that guy? There he is. So when we go to main, there we are. Where are we at here? There we go. So these are our calls, calling the function. So I can put that. I'm going to start doing this. So this is a function call. Whoops. No, that was right. There's nothing in this main function, so that's why it's giving us static. I need to tab this over. Now it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Whoops, no, it doesn't. There we go. Uh-oh, it still has a problem. What do you suppose is going on here? It's red, which means it can't find it.
We need to call the other ones.
Yep. We have to do what's called import. All the imports for the Python language itself happen automatically in the background. If you make your own little chunk of code that you can call from any number of programs, in fact, part of this is we're going to make a little utils module we can use and reuse and reuse and reuse. So I have to import this into here somehow. Well, one way to do that is to import the file name temp convert module, because that's where our function is stored. From that, import, yeah, there we go. Oh no, this is a better way. From temp convert module, import. It's doing, I thought I had turned that off. I'm in the wrong program, aren't I? That's why everything's weird. All right, here we go. From here is where we do the importing. From temp convert module, import, oh, there it is. It did it for me. Import the convert to Fahrenheit function. So from this file, we're going to import this function. Now we can access this function as though it was inside this program. And when I point at it, Notice how it's saying to me, oh, you have to put in Celsius, and you also have to put in how many decimal places that we want to convert. So that's a helper thing from Visual Studio Code to help you remember what you did. Do you have to know what's going on in here anymore? You just point at it and you know what to feed into it, and nothing comes out. So it's going to print out the answer. Yes.
How does the Python know where's importing the file? Like, let's say you have a folder with two files with the same name, like one in each
You
folder.
can't have a folder with two files in the same folder. If you had them in separate folders,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
you're
like two
saying.
folders and one file with the name.
So say this was in a folder called data.
All right.
Yeah, you would put in the full path. Do you only need this if it's in the same folder?
All right.
You just say from this file, we're going to import this function. And then Python thinks it lives right here, because when you launch the program, it brings this into memory, it brings this into memory. So everything's in memory, even though they're two different files on the file system, everything exists in memory at the same time. And that makes our programs very clean. Once you've got this working, do you have to see it again? No. You never have to see it again. You just have to know how to use it. We know we need to feed in decimal, we know we need to feed in decimal places, and we don't get anything out of it. And actually, this shouldn't be like that. It should be more like this, shouldn't it? Return Fahrenheit, because we don't want to be. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? We have to actually return two things, don't we? Let's do this. Let's separate our stuff there. And we'll do this. All right. So we're doing one thing here. We are converting Celsius into Fahrenheit. Then we're rounding Fahrenheit to a certain amount of decimal places. Now, what will we do next once we're done? We're not going to print. We're going to return. That's a better way to do this, because I'm only doing one thing per line. Or before, I kind of was combining things and printing. This is better. It's easier to understand. So here, this would want to be changed to, and then we print Fahrenheit. Right? So all this does is convert to Fahrenheit, round it off to something, we put it here. Now we can use that function in any type of program we want. And we do the same thing with this one, because this isn't going to work anymore. Not like this, all it's going to do is disappear. But if we put in Fahrenheit and then print it out, can we store more than one piece of information as we go through a program in the same variable? We can change the value. That's why it's called a variable. It varies. It can change. So will this work? You betcha. It doesn't look any different from the outside or from the results than it did before. It's the same output. But as far as good programming that people can understand and is the convention of way things, most people do it, you'll see all kinds of stuff that is not like this, but this is a more accepted convention for doing things in Python. The term for that is Pythonic, meaning it's how Python was designed to work. You'll see all kinds of other things, but this is more like how Python, the only thing this is missing is input from the user. And that's not hard to do. And then we have a nicely designed program. A few comments here and there, we're good. And the next program we write that needs a temperature, Fahrenheit to temperature converter, what can we do? We can create 100 programs and import this same module. And we just have to have the module once. Is that do not repeat yourself? This is definitely do not repeat yourself. Definitely. And Hudson was mentioning classes before. That's like the next step up from functions is everything encapsulated into one big jug. And then you pick the pieces that it's kind of like a multi-tool. There we go. Everybody knows what a multi-tool is. You have a screwdriver, you have a knife, you have all that stuff. So a class is kind of like a multi-tool. You pick the parts that you want to use, and all this information about the multi-tool is stored in it. So it's kind of like a multi-tool with a USB drive attached to it. Because you can do things with a class, you can store things with a class, and that's all one thing. And it can be put into a module, and then you never have to refer to it again. Oh yeah, this is a lot. Anybody remember anything that I said?